Hello, everybody, and welcome to Drop In, Drop Out, a show where we usually have a scripted intro that I read. However, I did not anticipate reading it through the eyes of this Donkey Kong mask. I am Jake Twitchin, your host for the night, and I am joined by my two favorite members of JK Games. Easy top two. Number one over here, tied for number one. Two-way tie, I fear. It's Jerica. Jerica, how are you doing tonight?
I'm fabulous. Wow, that was a quick mask put on.
I'm getting really good at the
he didn't have it on a
wardrobe
second
change.
ago. No, that was fast.
Say, at the top of the show, I won't wear this the entire time because I know it does muffle my voice and sound generally bad. So audio listeners, I do have a photorealistic Donkey Kong helmet mask type
What
thing
is it?
on.
What's the texture of that thing?
Like plastic. Can you hear me touching
it? I
it?
hear it now. Okay.
Yeah, it's $20 on Amazon shipped. It's got cloth eyes so you can kind of see through it. It's pretty nice. Kayla, I don't mean to keep you in silence. Tied for number one favorite member of JK Games. Kayla, how are you?
I'm doing swell. I was jump scared by the DK mask, even though I should have known it was coming from your jamboree that you did on your channel recently. I should have known. I was already jump scared once. Here I am again, but I'm doing swell. I would love to be actively playing this game while we chat, but I'm not going to be rude like Patrick did Mario Kart Worlds. I'm not going to play.
Right.
I'm just joking.
Everyone agrees that was a good bit.
It was a good bit, but yeah, I'm doing swell. I'm very excited to chat. The chat also loves the mask, I fear.
Very nice.
Oh man.
Nobody cared who I was till I put on the mask. That's the best I've got. That's the best I've got for my Bane impression.
I like your facial hair is creeping out underneath it a little bit too. Like,
look at this.
Speaking of which, this thing looks thick. It's longer. Yeah. How are you growing your facial hair longer? Like,
I always try to grow my facial hair out a little bit. Oh, look, there's like a little dent on my forehead from where the mask sits on it. It's pretty cool. I always try to grow my facial hair out, and I hit this point of like, it's impossible to have this thing not look ratty as I try to get past like the point where it kind of sits on my face. Because a lot of these guys out here are rocking beards to hide their jawline. Not me. Jawline strong as fuck.
Oh, hell yeah.
No issue.
Flipping wigs over here.
You know, the thing they always do is like if they go and grab a guy's beard and kind of like push it down and pull it, you can see the jawline and it will expose some people. Next time you're around somebody with a big beard, find out. Yeah. Give it a grab.
Yeah. You gotta do it with Patrick when he's back on the show.
Yes, we need to establish, but I always have trouble growing it out. So I'm working really hard to kind of get it to a point where I can gain some mass. So
okay, Kratos.
We're seeing. I know it is a little Kratos build. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about my beard. Holy fuck! Listen, we're burying the lead here a little bit. We're here to talk about Donkey Kong Bananza. It is officially release day. The game has been out for about 21 hours here in the US, and we have all played it. And let's do something stupid.
Okay.
Usually we do like an icebreaker, right?
Yeah.
I want you each to go around. I'll go last. I'll start with Kayla, and then we'll go Jerica, and then we'll go me. I want you to tell us how much Donkey Kong Bananza you've played, how many minutes you've played, and then I want you to, if you had to review it right now, what's the number you're putting on it? Like on a 10-point scale, or you can Famitsu this thing on a 40-point scale. No, I'm just kidding. On any scale that you'd like. on any scale that you'd like, tell us what you're thinking about it, Kayla.
Yeah, I think that I really have not played a ton. I wanted to try to get it. I was contemplating, this is like a backstory, but I was trying to decide between the ever growing issue of, do I get a physical copy and wait to get the physical copy, or do I bite the bullet and just get the digital copy to get it earlier? Or do I go and get the physical copy and like wait for it and like pick it up and do the whole thing? So I ended up opting to get the digital copy to be able to play it, to talk about it tonight with you guys. So I've only played about an hour, maybe an hour of playtime, but I definitely want to get more into it after the show. If I had to rate it right now, just on like pure like enjoyment and like that like feeling I have, I think I would give it a 9 out of 10, honestly. Like truly, and I think the only reason I can't say confidently a 10 is just because of like how little time. But if I had to do it right now, I would say like a 9 out of 10, just from what I've experienced so far.
Oh yeah, Jerica, what about you?
God, I would have loved nothing more to keep playing this and not be on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Only got 2 hours in, so yeah, 100. I don't know. I can't do math. 2 hours, 120 minutes. You asked for minutes, so let me give you
right.
Sorry,
23 minutes.
Perfect.
Could be been a little bit longer. I don't know, but around that amount. And for me, just getting into it, and I also only saw the initial trailer. I haven't seen anything else. I was just sort of waiting to see what people started saying, and I saw the reviews, and I'm like, "Oh shit, this is more than what I've seen." I love that this has been there seems to be a magic that's been sort of hidden from everybody with the trailers and at least what they've shown off so far. And god damn, this game. I don't even need to see I know there's going to be more moments, and I even got to you just have a feeling, and it's not even because obviously the reviews and like seeing what people are saying about it obviously solidifies my purchase, but just hopping in without knowing, can this little Donkey Kong guy like do more than beat his rocks? That sounds wrong.
No, that's
you know
that's
what I
perfect.
mean.
That's how they describe it.
But God, I'm in love. I got to a new character earlier, and I'm just like, this fucking game. I love it. Jeez, will Donkey Kong end up getting with Death Stranding and Expedition 33 for me so far for my games of the year?
I get it. Where do you number on it?
Oh yeah. You asked me for minutes and other numbers. Just because I don't have as much time in it, I promise. I feel like I'm about to be promised something really incredible, but I'm at a 9.5.
9.5. I love it.
It's good. Right. It's clean. I have had no issues, and I can see a path of wonder. I think this game's gonna be really, really. I think I'll end up giving it a 10 at the end of it all.
Yeah,
nice.
I am currently about 6.5 or 7 hours into the game, and
Nice.
All right.
I haven't had that much time to sleep because I have been choosing Donkey Kong over sleep, and let me tell you, excellent decision. Just the best type of decision that you could possibly make, because this game, to me, let's see, we have a 9 out of 10, a 9.5 out of 10. I'm gonna give it an 11 out of 10. So when you average everything together,
wow,
it's a 10 out of 10 is the official early review score.
Dino review scale. 10 out of 10.
Listen,
it's perfect.
Take a shot every time Jake says he's playing his game of the year, but I don't see a world where this game doesn't keep the momentum that it's already established in these like opening 5 or 6 or 7 hours for me. Ooh. And I don't see a world where this game is like, I don't know, taken out by anything else. Even the games that I've loved so far this year, things like Blueprints and things like Avowed, don't resonate the same way that this game already is doing. Like, it is setting me up so perfectly to not only just have one of the most enjoyable gameplay experiences that I've had in a very, very long time, that like signature Nintendo AAA platforming. We'll get into our details and a little bit more on like the gameplay and break down the story and how we're feeling about our intro as we, progress to the episode. But I just don't see a world where this is not my game of the year. I just can't imagine a point, even months and months from now, where I'm like, well, I got to put Donkey Kong down a level and then put something else above it, because this is going to be so special. Like it already is. It already is. So I'm red hot on it. It sounds like everybody else is as well, and the whole world is beginning to play it. And yeah, the review scores, like you guys were alluding to, have been through the roof. And I steered clear. I did watch the Nintendo Direct and like the extended trailer leading up to it, but then since like the embargo was lifted yesterday or the day before, I looked at review numbers. Like I saw IGN gave it a 10, and I saw so and so recommends, and Famitsu a 38 out of 40, the whole 9 yards. I looked at those numbers, but I haven't read anything. I've been avoiding all gameplay or clips or other people's streams and stuff like that, because I do want this to be a very, very special occasion. But let's get into a little bit of our Donkey Kong history. But before we do that, let's say hi to everybody in the chat, our active chat, hanging out already. We have Eula here. We have Coal Mines. We have the Dan Good Show. We have Cirrus Shard. We have High Score Weekly. We have our very own Cognitive Lips hanging out. Blaster Goblin hanging out. Kayla, you're in there. Nerdlease is not only here, but also subscribing. W's in the chat for
Shout
Nerdlease.
out.
Love to see it. I recently followed Nerdlease on social media. Good follow. Good follow.
Good follow.
Yep.
I feel like
I must say.
I threw a follow out there. Maybe it was Twitch or somewhere.
Worth.
There's somewhere. I'm following you, maybe in more than one spot.
Ooh, maybe in real life. Yeah, I gotta say, I'm still not as diligent as I should be, as some people are in our Discord, but we have a really nice community of creators in there. And spoiler alert, we're also looking to like figure out exactly how to like get everybody doing one thing as well behind the scenes. Of like, there are so many people that are doing their own thing. How we can't just have a podcast where we have every single person. As much as I'd love to have like, you know, the three of us plus Nerdlease and Dan Good Show and Eula can come and High Score Weekly and like the list goes on and on. Mr. the Human, everybody come and hang out on one podcast would just be chaos. But what can we all do together? So I'm trying to figure out what the answer to that is. And we will figure it out because there's too much talent around the drop in, drop out crew. So if you're a big or small content creator and you're not hanging out, if you're listening to this somewhere on the internet, first of all, like and subscribe. But second of all, I'm hanging out in the drop in, drop out Discord. It's fucking impressive over there. And we cleaned it up. How are you guys feeling about the cleanup in there?
Beautiful.
Yeah, it looks great. And by we, Jake means he. He cleaned it up.
I cleaned it up. I'm fishing for compliments right now on my hard work.
Yeah.
I clicked buttons for nearly 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good. And there's a whole space in there. Like if like Jake said, you are like a content creator and you want to share what you work on, we encourage that. There's a space to do that there. So don't ever be afraid to like throw in your own videos. We have a pretty loyal community there that will help hype up your content. And it's a fun discussion place too. We have some input from them all to share later on about their first impressions of Donkey Kong. So very good, cool place to be. I dropped the link in the chat. If you're listening to the fight, you can find it on our website, dropindropoutpod.com. Go there.
You're so right. You're so right. I wanted to start this conversation with, much like we just started like our icebreaker with our initial impressions here and just throwing a number on it for fun. I wanted to just get like a base coat before we get into our lengthy discussion about Bananza itself of Donkey Kong experience. I mean, Donkey Kong is a character that, so I bought this stupid mask, right? And right now I'm at my parents' house visiting them, helping out a little bit. And when I got the mask, I walked out of this guest bedroom and my mom was in like the little sitting area by the living room. And I just walk out wearing the mask and she goes, "Is that Donkey Kong?" And I was like, "How do you know who Donkey Kong is?" Like, it is a household name.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, like I think, who do you think? Oh, we're so far off topic now.
No, well, I think it's
household names.
Well, let me answer that question first. What are household names?
Well,
like,
no, I want to hear what you were going to say, and then we'll go to mine. It's fascinating.
I think it's fascinating that, and I'm not the biggest Donkey Kong fan. You're going to see from this today, and why I'm so excited about this game, though. But I used to be. I've played a few games, but like, it is strange that I feel like we just haven't seen Donkey Kong on a pedestal in a very long time.
Yes.
And to your point, even your mom identifies with this character. So why isn't Donkey Kong like highlighted more? Were they just working on this game the whole time, the last like 15 years? So I feel like there's been a few games, but like the last big like hyped, like to me, and I was a kid, was Donkey Kong 64. Like the first time it was like put in front of like a console, not a launch, but like as a, hey, if you're going to have an N64, you want Donkey Kong 64. I don't know if the rest of the world feels that way, but that was like a game I had to have. And like, I don't know. I just feel like he hasn't had the focus like he used to have in this kind of game.
You're definitely correct, because Donkey Kong seemed like it was on such a trajectory where like the NES had like the arcade ports of Donkey Kong, right? And so you had like Mario was kind of spinning off of Donkey Kong at that point. And then the Super Nintendo comes out and Rare knocks it out of the fucking park. Right, we get like Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3, which are obviously regarded as some of the best 2D platformers of all time, even though I think they're only okay. More on that later. However, after that, it goes to the Nintendo 64, and like the trajectory seemed like. Listen, all I'm saying is I know that the console launched with it. We didn't get a Mario 64 special edition fucking console or controller. Like that game came out, it was packed with an expansion pack that made the Nintendo 64 bigger and better and capable of doing more. It's basically like additional RAM for your console. And then it had the jungle green console, or even if you bought the base console for a while. Oh no, that was an atomic purple controller, but there was like a green controller that promoted the whole thing. The Donkey Kong cartridge itself came on like a yellow plastic instead of the regular. Cool. Like, it's so cool. Oh my god, there's nothing more. Aura farming early in the fucking early 2000s and late 90s was making your Nintendo 64 cartridge any other color than gray. That's like, oh, that sticks out. I remember, I think Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 had like a blue one. I remember something had a red one. There was definitely yellow for Donkey Kong.
There was like a Pokemon Snap or like Pokemon Hey You Pikachu. Like, what was that game? It was like red or yellow. Pikachu. That was dope. Yeah.
You ever seen the Hey You Pikachu Nintendo 64?
I had it all the time on eBay.
I feel like I have.
When it came out.
It's insane. It's an insane console. It's got to be the best looking Nintendo 64 that exists. I wish they would go a little harder with like the special editions. These days, it's like, hey, this is like the same color, but it has a little bit of like a gold trim in honor of Zelda. I'm like, that's cool. But like, what if you put like Link's fucking face on it and the whole thing was green? Like,
I want a statue glued to my console. Okay,
right,
it's a bit. Absolutely.
Yes.
Like even with like the like PlayStation like 3 and 4 era, like if we're talking Sony, like not even talking Nintendo, like they had like whole units dedicated to like a special anniversary edition. Like I mean, imagine if you had like a Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons that were just like yellow for Bonanza, you know what I mean?
For
like,
sure.
Even
just I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's unbelievable.
Maybe it's this economy, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a fumbled bag. It seems like they get closer to it the further the Nintendo console generation goes on, because like the Skyward Sword special edition Nintendo Switch 1 Joy-Cons are really slick. There's like a purple one and a blue one, and they actually look like massively different. But like the biggest fumble in the world was the Nintendo Switch 1 Pro controller was like the old school see-through gray. Like you could see the internals of it. And I was like, oh my god, this is it. They're gonna do the thing where they're gonna make like a purple one and a green one and a yellow one and a fucking ice blue one. And then they just didn't do that at all. And you know who did? Microsoft. Microsoft's making the best first party looking controllers that exist right now.
Makes me want to buy one of each. It's
which I learned. Like this is kind of getting off topic too, which it's related to Donkey Kong, but like I learned a lot about like Rare and their relationship with Microsoft from our listener and content creator High Score Weekly, their video about it. I was like, I had no idea how extensive like all of that lore was, but I definitely think that when you talk about like household names, Donkey Kong is one, because like same thing with like my mom. She was like, "Did you get that new game that came out, the Donkey Kong?" I was like, "Yes, Nancy, I did." Actually,
there's something about it. Like it's like what we're saying about household names with Donkey Kong, where I think that the Rare situation is definitely why we ended up in a weird era for Donkey Kong platformers for a while. And I think that GameCube time and them kind of like having to sort of skip a generation, like we got Donkey Konga out of it and Donkey Kong Jungle Beat and a couple other little side things and whatnot. And for the most part, not having like a traditional Donkey Kong platformer until Donkey Kong Country Returns. And even that, say what you will about like a Donkey Kong Country Returns or Tropical Freeze, and I think Tropical Freeze might have a case for the best 2D side-scrolling video game of all time. But even with that said, I think the best 2D side-scrolling modern game can't beat the best like 3D platforming modern game. I think it needs to be like a product of its time. That's a personal opinion. I'm sure we could do an hour and a half on that on the podcast very easily. But
we probably could.
The fucking comments are already belittling me. I can feel it, and I love it. It fucking brings me power. Please, I feed off of it.
He enjoys it.
But yeah, I think we did have that little like stumble of like the trajectory for Donkey Kong from like Super Nintendo to Nintendo 64 was like hitting its fever pitch. Like if they would have gone on GameCube and made like a Donkey Kong 64 successor and not waited until 2025 to do another 3D Donkey Kong platforming game, I think you could be living in a very different reality. But there's so much that goes into it. And again, this is something that's kind of been talked about both on like Dido content and like the surrounding Dido content on like Spotlight Games and on my streams. We did our like little Donkey Kong jamboree about once Rare splits from Nintendo, like there were already plans going on. Nintendo had like a habit back then of just thinking they could work with third parties working on their licensed stuff, and they would just do that forever for not as much and no contract. And their talent started getting scooped up. So that's why you see a lot of like, oh, Nintendo acquires Next Level Games, Nintendo acquires Camelot, or whatever, you know, different thing that they are going to grab from like an in-house studio. So that doesn't happen anymore. But now we are living in a reality where Nintendo has Donkey Kong at arguably its new peak of popularity, and at the same time they're intrinsically seemingly combining these franchises. If we look at like the Mario movie, you know, because the Super Mario Brothers movie second lead character, well, it's probably Peach, but the third lead character, oh, is probably Bowser, but the fourth lead character is Donkey Kong for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a really good tell. Like, for a very long time, Mario Tennis and Mario Golf and Mario Kart has always had Donkey Kong in it. But we think of the Mario universe and we start rattling off Wario and Waluigi and all these other characters before we mention Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, despite them coming from their own like humble beginnings together. So it seems like we're getting ever closer towards these universes being one and the same, which is nice. And it's nice to see that push kind of come to fruition in such a special game. But before we get off the topic, I wanted to talk to you guys each about your history with the franchise. So Kayla, talk to us. What Donkey Kong games have you played outside of like, you played Mario Party 4 and Donkey Kong was in it?
I think that I represent a good baseline of I didn't actually play any other Donkey Kong games besides this one. My kind of like intro into gaming like as a kid was the GameCube. So I didn't really have a Nintendo console before then. And am I incorrect that saying like, did any Donkey Kong game launch on the GameCube or no?
Not like alongside it. There was Donkey Konga, which you controlled with your bongos.
Yes, I saw that. That's crazy.
Yes, which is crazy. There's two of them that came out, and then there's like a platforming one, and then there's a third one that came out in Japan only. And then I feel like there might be one more spinoff, but maybe I'm thinking of Barrel Blast. But no, around that time, it was mostly you're either playing it on bongos or doing little side games that were on Game Boy Advance and Nintendo DS.
Yeah, so I really feel like I genuinely like skipped the like childhood like introduction to Donkey Kong aside from like the part that he played in like the Mario games, like you mentioned, like Mario Party, Mario Kart. That's really the only like connection I had to the character was like how he was related to Mario and not really any sort of like standalone games.
We have dog.
But yeah, so that's really my experience is none, which is why like I am very much like wanting to kind of like go back in time. Like I know there's not there's of course like emulations and things like that, but like I haven't really had any experience with the character, and I'm really excited to kind of like start fresh with this game.
For sure. That's such a fascinating thing for you to still come out of the gate and feel like this game is a 9 out of 10, because I am okay being transparent that I am constantly blinded by nostalgia. Like you dangle in front of me something that reminds me of when I didn't have responsibilities, and I'm like, oh, the good stuff. Like it's very, very easy for me.
And that's a really interesting point. Like I don't necessarily have the nostalgia tied to this character. However, this game still brings that like nostalgic feeling out of me. And I don't know if it's just like the way that the gameplay is. It feels like a really beautiful blend of like nostalgic aspects and like new age technology when it comes to gaming, and like the innovation that we've had on like the gameplay, the mechanics, the visuals. Like I feel like it's a good blend of that. Even me being like removed from the character and the lore necessarily, it still like feels that way. So.
Yeah, that's a really interesting dynamic too, because you think about how like, okay, so you're not maybe specifically nostalgic for Donkey Kong games, but because of like the gaming zeitgeist that we all live in, where we have a closer, ear to the ground on this, he's unavoidable. If our parents know about him, you've got some sort of like respect for him. This is a character that's been around for a while for a reason, for sure. But I think some of it goes into that like we can call it like Nintendo magic, but I really love to compare it to like that Disney magic, where there is just like a little something about those games that reminds me of like mid 90s. Like, you did not confuse Disney animation in the 90s for anything else. Like, you can tell me that Fern Gully and Anastasia are 10 out of 10 movies, and that's fine, but you are not gonna catch those being like, oh, I thought Disney made those, because no, Disney was making fucking Hercules and Lion King and Aladdin and Mulan, and it was all hits and no misses, and there was just like polished to an immaculate shine. And when you get that out of like a game, regardless of who the character is, which like usually it's Mario, sometimes it's Kirby, few and far between it's Donkey Kong, you definitely feel that, which I think is wonderful. So cool to know that it translates there. Jerica, what about your history with Donkey Kong games?
I feel like I've talked about this on the show before. Like, I didn't have a Super Nintendo, but my weird friend as a child, how old was I? I don't know how. I was definitely not 10, close to 10 years old, maybe, probably younger. Yeah, I didn't have a Super Nintendo, but he did. I had a regular Nintendo. I just never had the Super one, unfortunately. I guess I wasn't super enough. I had a Sega, so I guess that's why Mom didn't get me one of those. But luckily, my weird friend had one, and yeah, that's the only thing I played on his Super Nintendo was Lion King and Donkey Kong Country. And like, that was the only time I got to play. And I didn't even like this kid. I was literally just using him to go over here and play Donkey Kong. And his weird ass mom, his mom would make these bad sandwiches, like with we're from the South, so it was like pineapple, mayonnaise, and bread. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Like the weird pineapple. It's a Southern thing, like pineapple and mayonnaise, banana and mayonnaise. You never had a banana sandwich with mayonnaise?
Oh my God. I used to listen to Southern rappers and they would talk about their mayonnaise sandwiches, and I always thought it was a euphemism. Come to find out.
No, it's an actual sandwich. It might
sugar
be
water
that
and mayonnaise sandwich.
Chat is not in, and neither is our international friend Eula. Is not understanding at all.
Banana mayonnaise sandwich, actually delicious. If you've ever never had it, you should try it. It actually is good. But I don't like pineapple or pear. It was pear, not pineapple. It was pears.
Shout out all the pear.
Ugh. Anyways,
But at least
that's
they
what we
had
have
Donkey
for
Kong.
lunch. All that memory is tied together. There's a reason why I remember all of those facts, is I was having the time of my life playing Donkey Kong Country on his Super Nintendo. And he would end up being bad and like get put in timeout. And it was just me. It was just me. It was like my Super Nintendo. So it was great.
That's so
I never had Donkey Kong in my own home. So unfortunately, until Donkey Kong 64, because I did have an N64. Funny enough, never had Mario 64. Never wanted that game. Once again, it was one of those games that I played. So Donkey Kong 64 was like my 3D platformer of what it could be. And God, that game, even though I'm sure it gets criticized, it's not in the rap's cheesy, and really, I love the rap. I like listening to it. It takes me back. I think it's cheesy, but it's fun. It'll stay in your head for the like DK Donkey Kong. Like, it's in my head forever. But God, that game was massive. And as a kid that doesn't know like how big games could get, was just like, this is heaven. This game is the best game I ever played in my life when I was that age. And there's like five different Kongs you could play as, and like there was a multiplayer mode. This game was massive, and I think that in itself was like the last time like I dedicated myself to like being all in on a Donkey Kong game. But since then, like 2D side scroller games, cool. It's not like my cup of tea, but I enjoy those games. It's not like I'm dying for the next one. But I did try Tropical Freeze last week just to sort of tee myself up to get refamiliarize myself with Donkey Kong again. And it is a great game. It's not like my favorite types of games, but like I can see the appeal and I want to keep at it. But I prefer what I wanted from Donkey Kong is Donkey Kong Bonanza. Like, this is the dream come true to like revisit this guy again. And I'm glad he's getting I don't know about y'all. He's cute. When the fuck did he get cute?
It's that redesign. I'm telling you.
I think
my girlfriend was like, because I was like, oh, he's so cute. He's cute. And she was cute. Like, what? Nah. And then she came back in and like saw me in photo mode taking a picture of him. And she's like, fuck, he is cute. I'm like, I told you. This little bitch is cute.
grown on
They
me.
did a good job. Like, I love
For
his
sure.
look. Like, I think they've done a really good job. So
Yes. I think
Yeah.
there's a really interesting thing going on right now. First of all, leak the photo mode photos into the Discord expeditiously. We need to see them.
Yes.
And then
Please.
there's a really interesting thing going on right now about like the development of this game and the Donkey Kong redesign in particular, because basically we've only seen this Donkey Kong redesign pop up a few places so far, where its debut in video games was only a short month ago in Mario Kart World. You know, that was the first time that we had like a playable-ish version of this, at least the version that, you know, is the actual playable character. And then we had the movie, which kind of took the brunt of like the, we call it controversy, or like a little bit of like a, you know, there's like a reaction to seeing one of your favorite characters subtly change like that, or not so subtly change, because looking at those two side by side, there's a visible difference. And I think seeing the movie and being like, all right, well, that's the movie thing, but then seeing it in the game, I was like, oh, I don't know. But now watching it in motion and seeing how expressive he is, and it works so well that I am like fully on board. I was definitely somebody that was like, why are you fixing what's not broken? And now I'm like, this is our donk. It's still our donk. He just looks a little cleaner and a little cuter, and that's okay. It's okay to glow up. Grow your beard out, King. You know, do your thing.
Trim it up. You know?
Like just the teeth he has on him in that old design is just like, and it's scary. Yeah,
the teeth are so
someone in the
scary
chat said, "Yeah, High Score Weekly, it's scary."
Video game mouths. This keeps on coming up. It's a fucking situation. They gotta figure it out. They gotta figure out these mouths.
Either have the teeth look okay or have no teeth. No teeth or decent teeth. There's too much teeth.
Chat, drop your favorite video game mouth in the chat.
Yeah, everyone's favorite mouth right now. Mine, you can't take mine. Mine, Chameleon Twist, Nintendo 64. Not Chameleon Twist 2. Knowers no. It's a 3D platformer where you stick out your tongue, and then right when you stick out your tongue as the chameleon, you hold the tongue button, and it starts like you can control with the stick where the tongue goes to do stuff. It's fucking awesome.
That sounds like a Jerica.
I need that in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
To grab chameleon, not other things.
Right. Yeah. Well, whatever you want to use it for. I think you get it for one thing and then figure out it can be used for another. You'd be full of stuff to use it for that.
First and best response in the chat is from Control Alt Delete, who said Rogue the Bat, and that's
I would say so. I think that is something. To just briefly go over my history with Donkey Kong is from as far back as I can remember. I'm a fucking Donkey Kong freak. On the NES, I had the port of Donkey Kong, which I didn't like that much, but because I had it and it was one of those 10 games that I had and would shuffle through, I definitely jumped over some barrels as Jumpman, made my way towards Pauline and knew who this guy was, so that when the Super Nintendo came out, I was already very, very in. I also had Donkey Kong Land on the original Game Boy, which were kind of coming out like alongside the country games for a little while. They're not quite ports as much as they are like made in the vein of, you know, it's like a modern example would be like, you know, if the brand new Hercules game came out on Game Boy Advance and GameCube. Like they're completely different games, but very much the same idea, same story type of thing.
Yeah.
And goddamn, I was obsessed with Donkey Kong. So same deal. When Donkey Kong 64 comes out, it's my absolute identity. Some of chat was talking about how Donkey Kong 64 is pretty fucking notorious for being one of the more challenging collectathons because of its 5 characters, where like you'll find some hidden coins and you'll get to them and then it'll be like, you can't even pick these up. You're not Tiny Kong right now. And I'm like,
exactly.
Like, I go back to the fucking character switcher and equip Tiny and get here again. Where was I? Oh, it's tough. And I stuck through. I own my Donkey Kong Jungle Beat bongos and conga, and I play Rock Lobster. We were at the party. Everybody had matching towels. And then you clap. It's fucking awesome.
That sounds awesome.
So truly all the way through, I've just been a Donkey Kong freak, and I've been lying in wait here. You know, so many long years of telling people that Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze should be played and is worth $70 or $60, even though it's 10 years old. I said, well, you did it for Mario Kart. It's fucking there's a really good what is the chat's gonna help me, chat's gonna link it, chat's gonna take care of this, and we'll come back to it as to not break the progression of the podcast. Can somebody find me I can't remember the name of the website, but it's like the equivalent of The Onion, but for video games, where it's like fake news stories, and it's like Nintendo holds 2-hour meeting trying to decide if they can sell Donkey Kong Country, if they can afford to sell Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for less than $60. Oh, it's The Hard Drive is the name of it, but the fucking actual headline is so funny and the article reads so well. Highly recommended. We'll post it in the Discord. It's our 5th Discord plug. Oh my god. Somebody... No, Eula's already got the goods.
Damn,
what an absolute legend. Okay, I tried to click the link and it just showed up on the
We're great. We're great at this
podcast video.
I love it.
Exactly what I wanted it to do.
Larger text.
All right, shout out to the harddrive.net, hard-drive.net. Nintendo holds 12-hour meeting to decide if company can survive selling Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for less than $60. And then the quote is, Nintendo simply cannot afford to sell Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for any less than its original price of $60, argued Nintendo president, explaining that lowering the price of this 1-year-old port of a 6-year-old Wii U game would completely decimate the company's profit margins and lead to eventual bankruptcy, which, is so true. They can't possibly discount this.
They put that shit on sale before this game came out. Missed opportunity.
So funny.
I feel like sometimes it does drop into like the $40 range, but even still, it just feels bad. I wish that they... At a certain point, when did we lose
30?
When did we lose our way? When did we lose our way with like the old greatest hits line and player's choice? And I know they always had those nasty packages with the yellow stripe or the red fucking maroon greatest hits. But listen, $20 for fucking Pikmin 1 or on GameCube or Jak and Daxter on PS2 years after to try to get into something that like, okay, well, not only is this game cheap, but also it's very good because it's sold this many copies generally is pretty impressive. Bring it back. Bring it back.
No, instead they just keep remaking them and have collector's editions like The Last of Us. We just pay more and more for the game.
How far into The Last of Us chronological order are you? Kayla, for audio listeners, Kayla actively has the collector's edition of Last of Us complete.
Have you played any of it, Kayla?
No, I haven't.
Like the new mode?
Yeah,
no, I haven't yet. I haven't actually.
Wrong?
I want to.
Is the chronological version of The Last of Us gonna be like the most boring fucking 5 hours ever? Right off the jump?
I fucked this up here. I shouldn't even brought it up. No.
I forgot. We're the hater. X.
Well, yeah.
No, he's trying to make a point here.
No, even still, like even with my hate aside, I mean, I'm hard on that game. I give that game like a 7.5, 8 out of 10. Like it's not like a video game or anything like that. But like combining chronologically the opening hours of Joel, Ellie, and Abby of everything happening concurrently is going to be a lot of fucking walking around and people talking really slowly. That's going to be a tough ask. I don't know.
That's fair.
Rescuing zebras, and then trying to get to the next town. I can't remember, but
exactly, yeah. Exploring fucking museums. It's going to be a whole situation.
We have a whole Last of Us podcast not here at JK Games. If you want to go find us over there,
Clickbait, drop in, drop out pod will get you where you need to go. But yeah, my Donkey Kong history is like I've been such a easy mark for this game for such a long time, but taking so much of what I love and bundling it up and then putting this package of a new Donkey Kong game in front of me has definitely sent me to like a maximum overdrive status of like, oh, I'm primed to love this game. And I'm really happy that it's starting out that well. So I think we're pretty much good to hop into at least like the opening hour of Donkey Kong Bananza.
Let me know when I can let my tongue out of these teeth.
Please take it away.
I'm not gonna spoil anything here. I'm not too far in. But I am curious. Okay. I love the introduction to Donkey Kong, just like hitting the button and then like busting your way through this wall. It's like he's busting through the TV, and I think that's so cool. I like how they're giving him such a character like they're giving him characteristics and character, and he doesn't even say anything really. He whistles and like makes little sounds, but he has no dialogue. And he's just like and to your point, Jake, like this design, like he's so expressive. And I love that focus. Like they've done really well with like honing in on a character that doesn't talk and how do you make them interesting? And he has so much personality. And they're doing that with is it a big mechanic, him busting out of the screen and like different points? He's like, you're like repeating, like hitting a button to like pull something out of the ground. But I think it's like highlighting his character really well. My next thing I'll add, that was just a statement, but here's the thing I want to bring up. He's like, I'll remember from the trailer, like, oh, he's just like hitting the ground and digging around. Like, that doesn't look fun. I've gotten into it. It's sort of fun. And I'm just like, how far do you go though? When do you stop breaking up rocks? Because the whole first area is getting to learn these mechanics of, he's like in a mine, right? This is where I need some help with lore.
No, yeah, you're fine.
It's in a mine. I don't know if that's part of.
I guess so. Yeah, it's off of Donkey Kong Island. I think a lot of this game, even still, like I'm 7 hours into it, you guys are a couple hours into it. A lot of this lore is a little bit shrouded in mystery. Like it says at the very beginning that this takes place like miles off of DK Island, which is the area in which like Donkey Kong Country 1, I believe, takes place. Like that's Jungle Japes. That's the area where Donkey has his like, banana horde in the whole 9 yards and the tires he jumps off of, that kind of thing. But yeah, besides that, it's all kind of stuff that's like, oh yeah, that's Donkey Kong adjacent. Like there's always mine carts in the series and that kind of thing. So like a mine situation makes sense. But yeah, kind of original, but adjacent to Donkey Kong lore.
I just don't remember him working in the mine. That's a new lore drop.
Yearns for the mines.
I want to know what he's gonna make with all this gold he's finding. But I was a little concerned at the beginning because I'm like, oh, are we just busting up walls here and collecting coins and like what's happening in gold? I don't know. I don't even know what I use this currency for yet. But then I was very surprised with the verticality of all of it. And everything's pretty much destructible. So I wonder how many secrets are in this thing, and will I want to go back and find what I missed?
It is crazy. That is, I'm with you on how overwhelming that is, but I actually do want to follow up on your first statement where the silent protagonist issue at Nintendo is one that's existed for a long time. We have, I think Link is like the example that comes to mind, but outside of like the fucking and the we don't have much. Yeah, not bad. In addition to that, we have Mario, who I feel like kind of he's got his yahoos and whatnot, so you got a little bit there. But for the most part, they have a lot of Nintendo silent protagonists, and there's usually not a good reason as to why they should be silent protagonists. It feels like it's something that's kind of like been grandfathered in over the years, where like, oh well, Link never talks because on the NES we didn't have fucking dialogue. Of course he doesn't talk. Like, so it's like an easy way to do this. So now with Donkey Kong Bananza and his redesign being as expressive as it is, the silent protagonist works here better than ever before. I feel like from a Nintendo standpoint of main characters, this is the peak of what they have achieved, because not only is Donkey Kong a strong silent protagonist who does a really good job of conveying emotion with his redesign, but it also makes sense that he's a fucking silent protagonist because he's a goddamn monkey. Like Link and Mario are like dudes. They're humans that can say words.
They have English words, I think.
Right. You learned Yahoo. Why don't you say like other stuff? I guess he does say like I'm a tired, which is like one of my favorite lines, but for the most part, they're not very verbal, and Donkey Kong, I feel like, rights these wrongs a little bit. So I love Donkey Kong, especially this version of Donkey Kong, new redesigned Donkey Kong, as a silent protagonist. And especially, okay, we have to talk about the one, I think it's not a spoiler.
Okay.
It's the only elephant in the room, right? Is that like there's dual billing for main characters in this game. Right, like this has been shown. There's dual billing for main characters.
Okay.
Jerica, it sounded to me like you have experienced it. Kayla, I think you probably know about it just from like the press and stuff like that. Yes. Okay, Jerica, for audio listeners, Jerica is doing like a hand motion on her shoulder. Yes. So
that's my Donkey Kong face.
let's talk about Odd Rock.
Yes. Yeah. You get Odd Rock pretty early on, like in the first like 20 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Like maybe even less, honestly.
Right. Odd Rock
was
like
the Rock in the trailers? Anybody knew the Rock was going to be? Okay, that was a
this
surprise.
This is the coolest thing in the world. So the Odd Rock is shown in the first trailer as just the Rock, and it's like a singing rock that makes no sense. And you're like, what the fuck is this thing? And then slowly but surely, people started to like put 2 and 2 together, and then there were like some very, very small leaks with like, I think what happened was there was an actual different Donkey Kong Bananza key art. So when you buy Donkey Kong Bananza and you look at the fucking cover, you can see Pauline is sitting on Donkey Kong's shoulder. And Odd Rock, what happened was, I think it was like Brazil or Argentina, I want to say, that when they posted the original Donkey Kong Bananza key art, the original key art still had Odd Rock. It didn't have Pauline. They didn't reveal that Pauline was in it until the Nintendo Direct, the second look at that game. And they did reveal fully that like Donkey Kong's sidekick Odd Rock is Pauline, and then they show Pauline. So fucking cool. It's so cool. Yeah. They changed the key art for this, and that Pauline is in this, and I want to talk about Pauline a little bit. Let's not go into too many details because Kayla, you haven't gotten to Pauline, right? You have Odd Rock, but not Pauline.
Correct. Yeah, but I know because I've seen it, and like, you know,
for sure.
I do think it's interesting. Like, if they could have pulled off their reveal, I think that would have been so cool. But like, it still was like a for people who like saw all the online things and like saw the direct.
Sure.
So, yeah,
it is. I think fucking masterfully done. I mean, we've talked about this at length on other episodes of the podcast too, about, for me, I am obsessed with Pauline's new design. Pauline is canonically, they say it in the game, I think they say it's either 13 or 14 years old, which is such an interesting age for a Nintendo character, because typically Nintendo either shits or gets off the pot when it comes to like their adult characters. You got like Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Bowser, and everybody is just like implied to be like, I don't know. I always like assume that they're in like their 20s or 30s. And then you go straight down to baby fucking like Bowser Jr. and baby Mario. Like all of these characters are like, we have never explored like a early teenage character in the Mario universe. And without getting too far into this, I think Pauline and Odd Rock's addition and the dynamic that it creates between Donkey Kong and Pauline is fucking incredible and fantastic. And every single time they interact, I go, oh, this game's gonna fucking emotionally destroy me at some point. Like I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it like building, and not because I don't think like something sad is gonna happen, but like Pauline, again, no spoilers, Pauline's a singer, and she is like, that's like a main mechanic in the game, is like if you hit left bumper at any time, Odd Rock or Pauline starts singing, and that does stuff to the game's like environments and to our main characters. But Pauline is also 13 years old, and she's embarrassed to sing in front of people, and it's so fucking precious. Like those thoughts of inadequacy in a Mario character, I don't think has really like been explored before in this way. And with having Donkey Kong be the silent protagonist and having her be kind of like the fucking chatterbox who is over here like telling and not showing a little bit more, but like because of that, having a little bit more ability to convey emotion outside of verbally, or outside of like visibly. I think the verbal additions that I'm getting from Pauline so far are fucking incredible and completely unexpected. And I can see this being a game that, because of like, listen, anyone listening to this that's above that age was like 12 or 13 before, and that's a fucking tough age, like coming into your own and figuring out what you're into and being embarrassed of that stuff sometimes. I think like we're gonna have to have a whole conversation after everyone rolls credits on this game, because I think it's gonna go fucking I think it's gonna be awesome.
I agree.
Nintendo, let's go.
It's
a surprise
really
for me. It's not like I'm like, oh no, I wish I didn't know, but like now that I'm so excited because I had no idea. I haven't even seen Pauline up close. I've just I saw that like, hey, she's in the game, but I actually I've always been like this far away, and I just assumed it was a lady, like a grown woman in the cover art. I haven't looked at it up close, so that's pretty cool. How neat!
It is really cool, and also like design is fucking awesome too. Like she's wearing these bell bottoms, and she kind of has like the King Kong style. I mean, that's the thing. It's like Donkey Kong and King Kong are, you can't really like look at Donkey Kong and it kind of goes without saying, but it is inspired by King Kong, and him having like the little female sidekick is obviously inspired, I think, of like by like, you know, the iconography at this point of like King Kong on the top of the Empire State Building with the little like girl in the dress that he's trying to protect while everyone's like shooting at him, and that whole thing. Yeah, exactly. Same exact sound that the Kong makes. But having her like wearing kind of like the red dress type beat that we usually see Pauline in, but also it's kind of like tattered. Like, I don't know what the history is, but I'm so inclined to like figure it out. There is a mystery here, and it is very exciting to dig into it and see where this lays with Nintendo lore. It's fucking
I wonder
rad.
if how it ends. Is there a tie-in to the next Mario game at all?
Yeah.
I feel like they have to at this point, because I think they want to drive home that these are like Donkey Kong and Mario are the same franchise. If you love Mario, you love Donkey Kong, and if you love Donkey Kong, you love Mario. And all signs point to like the Smash Brothers will eventually be canon. Like we're working towards this.
I've seen a lot of discussion about timeline and like how this falls in.
Yeah.
And I know like historically, like Nintendo doesn't necessarily like stick to a firm like canon, like universe, like timeline type thing. So I'm very curious, like how the story progresses in this game. Because to be quite honest, where I'm at in the game, I haven't really got any sort of like story beats yet. It's more just like Jerica mentioned in the first like opening area, you're learning the mechanics, you're seeing how it expands, which all of that I love so much. So I can't wait until I get to like layer the story on top of that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be very sweet, and a lot of it is like assumptions I think made by the fandom based on what we know. And I think like if we're trying to just deal with like facts and the lore of Mario prior to this, is like everything from the dynamic that we understand between Donkey Kong and Mario and Pauline is taken from all of their debuts in 1981's original Donkey Kong arcade game, where you play as Jumpman and you're jumping over barrels to get up the scaffolding, which, by the way, the fucking red scaffolding that's all over this game in Ingot Island, which is so directly inspired by that original like aesthetic, is so fucking cool. But you're playing as Jumpman and you're trying to get to the top of the screen where Donkey Kong is angry and throwing barrels at you because you're presumably trying to rescue Pauline, your princess. However, we know in modern lore that Pauline's not our princess. Peach is our princess. Who is Pauline? Because we, I think, jumped to some conclusions about what that story was about because of what we know about King Kong. Do we know the whole story? And I think that's what this game is getting at, especially with an aged down Pauline. You know what I mean? And I think that that'll be the fun thing, is maybe figuring out how this is all recontextualized in the long run. I don't know.
Sister of Peach, maybe it's a long forgotten sister, and maybe she's supposed to be the queen. I don't know. The princess. Do they have a queen?
Giving on
I don't know conversation yet.
I've been saying we need. Okay, I'm gonna pitch you guys my 2 Princess Peach games. You guys tell me which one you think is better. Okay. Anyone that's a regular in the Jake Twitch and stream has already heard the pitches on these 2 games. Okay, the first game idea: you are Princess Peach and your parents die in a tragic accident, and you, at the ripe age of 22, let's say, become a unlikely queen of the Mushroom Kingdom. The game is called Queen Peach instead of Princess Peach, and it's not a 2D platformer or 3D platformer. It is a like city builder, cozy construction manager, where you are trying to rule your kingdom as Princess Peach or Queen Peach and learn the ropes alongside her as far as like building a happy and healthy Mushroom Kingdom.
That's cool. I'm sold.
All right, perfect. Now here's the second pitch for my Princess Peach game. Princess Peach is pregnant with Mario's baby, and she has to carry the child to
Jesus. I was like, okay, let's make this a game where we have to pick one. We can't pick both because they're going to be both really good. And to my point, they're both really good. I don't know which one I want to pick.
Imagine Jake on the pod with the 2 female cast members talking about a pregnant main character.
Having to carry.
A fucking classic.
The first one sounds so good though.
They come as a pair. I think it's important to have both, you know?
That's so funny.
You
Very
sounded
cool.
so much, even like a couple sentences through after you said pregnant, because I was already like, fuck, what is this? I was like, okay, he sounds really serious. Maybe this is going somewhere. I'm like, no, it's not.
Was it going somewhere and we interrupted you, or was it for the...
No, that's the end of it. Carries the baby to term. That's the whole concept of she is pregnant.
Oh my god, RIP to the Cook Marios in the chat. Please
Yes,
stop.
for sure. Isn't that right, babe? That's what I'm
I
talking
like how
about
High
Mario
Score
back
Weekly went in and Eula said out. I just love that. It's perfectly placed.
Very good. Kayla, I wanna pivot to you and follow up on Jerica's previous statement about the like kind of overwhelmingness of the destructible environments, especially in that opening area. How did you go about that when you were in the mines down there? Were you like me? Because I was like Jerica, where I was like, I need to punch all the things and I'm going to be down here for 45 minutes. And if it's gold, it needs to get punched.
No, so I am notoriously the opposite gamer of Jerica, which is what makes this interesting, because I'm typically there's an end goal and I'm gonna get there kind of girl. But I will say though, like I very clearly think like the intro to this game is very much setting you up to learn like the mechanics of what you're doing, and like that's very common in games. I think they do it really artfully in this. It looks amazing. This section I think is laid out very well. So I didn't feel like I had to break everything, but I did find myself like wanting to do more because I love the way it feels to break things. Like the way that the haptic like feedback is like when you're walking around, even when you're just like walking around, it feels incredible. But I also just love the way like breaking like different areas of the environments feels different depending on like what you're smashing, which control you're doing. But I think because I knew a little bit more, I knew there was more coming with like the way that you could like traverse. I knew there was different options because of like things that I had seen. So I wasn't necessarily worried about it only being like, oh, I just smashed things, but I was worried like if it was going to start feeling repetitive. But even only an hour into the game, I already can tell that like this game's going to give you things at appropriate times for you to not feel like it's getting repetitive. Like they're going to introduce new things like as you're going along to make it like something different. You can get certain different areas. This is not a tangent, it is related sort of, but I love Dig Dug. I don't know if any of you are Dig Dug knowers.
Yeah.
But it makes me feel like that, where it's like I want to like dig down as far as possible and like get to all these other areas, just because I like the like exploration of like digging and like uncovering certain things. I mean, I played a game about digging a hole for like hours and hours and hours on end. That was a release that might be my game of the year this year. Came out this year. So yeah, I think I was like, I'm not normally one to like have to collect everything or like 100% do all the things. So I didn't feel super overwhelmed, but I was looking forward to like what was coming next for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a very good point too. I think that I've had a lot of people, as usual, with these new releases. When I stream them, I'm usually very timely, and I will do the midnight thing because I always go digital.
Yeah.
So when people come in the next day, they're like, "How far into it are you?" I'm like, 7 hours. They're like, "Damn, okay. Well, is it like dope? Like, what do you think? What's the deal? What's like your early opinion?" And I've been saying like this game is one part Donkey Kong 64, one part Mario. Hold on. Can we get a round of applause? Everybody fucking clap right now. If you're in chat, make sure you get some claps or some emotes going. Go ahead and commend us in the comment section. Leave a review of 5 stars on your favorite podcast app, because we are the only podcast, officially the only podcast, that went a full hour talking about Donkey Kong Bananza without muttering the word Mario Odyssey. Let's hear it for us. Let's hear it for us. Let's hear it for us. A full hour.
I forgot about that game.
But now you gotta fucking rip the Band-Aid off. I think that this game is one part Donkey Kong 64, one part Mario Odyssey, one part Zelda Breath of the Wild, and
why? I'm eager to know why.
Okay.
I'm eager to know why.
I'll tell you. It is very much why. Is because okay, so the Breath of the Wild part and the Odyssey part, I think, have to be explained at the same time. And where I'm at in the game is I have like officially entered the bulk of the game, right? Like,
yeah.
I'm on, if you will, World 2. They are designated differently and stuff like that. But like I'm actually on World 3, and the prologue doesn't count as it. So like the fourth area. But you know, they're biomes, right? Like you get to that first one, you get out of like the first one is the mines, and then you get into the second one, and it is just like a very like, you know, jungly type concept, like all very like basic stuff. And I'm sure it's gonna get crazy as we go. But now that I've got like the full gameplay loop figured out, I figured that it would have the same gameplay loop as Mario Odyssey, which to a point it does, but progression is no longer tied behind what would be these Banandium gems. Because in Mario Odyssey, if you recall correctly, you would have a primary objective, but the objective would also tie into the amount of moons that you had collected.
Yeah.
So you would kind of like go to the top and transform into the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and you would fight the little rabbit freak whose name I don't remember, which by the way, they're not as good as these new fucking Kong enemies. Yeah. They're so fucking awesome. However, in this game, you can just follow the main objective and not collect Banandium gems and just get the ones that are on like that main path and then go down to the next level, which is, I think, very cool. You'd never have that like point of friction of like, fuck, I still need to find 7 different Banandium gems or 7 different moons before I can charge my fucking spaceship up and go to the next level. So you're doing this like forced backtracking thing.
Yeah.
And the reason why I think that it takes a lot from like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is that because this is not forced progression anymore, where like realistically you could probably do like a speed run of this game that is like the least amount of Banandium gems collected, because you don't have anything that's stopping you from just like progressing through the game outside of the story-based missions where the next story beat is like punch this bundle of 3 gems. But because of that, I think that the Breath of the Wild influence for me, the pull, is the fact that we are not required, but I have a yearning to still explore and find those gems. And that's where it gets Breath of the Wildified for me, because nothing is making me do this, but I go over that hill and I look to the bottom left and I see this fucking thing and I'm like, what the fuck is that? I gotta go punch it or sing to it and figure out what's happening there. Even though I don't have to, I can't help it, and I'm getting sidetracked. And to me, that is Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. And in general, that is open world games to a certain extent. But I think the best example of like side questing and getting distracted is Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And you guys know, you guys are doing the video game book club right now.
Wanting, and like just being rewarded for like going the extra mile, like figuratively, and like like around this corner, and there actually being a payoff there. I love that. So it's cool to think that there's a lot of that in this game, because I love that shit so much. But it's also, it's like
me,
when
that's
I have
what
a
separates
checklist,
an open worlds.
Me and Kayla were talking about this, and I've sort of went back and forth with it. It's like when I have a checklist, it's almost like I don't want to do it because it's telling me to, but also I like that direction. But at the same time, I sort of like knowing I don't have like a mission objective at all. It appears so far in, I don't know if in your gameplay, if they're like telling you what to do, if you have like any objectives, but it feels like you're just sort of you're just going along for the ride and just going where you want to. I'm curious how much it opens up for you to be able to do that.
And that's what I think is like a very interesting fact, and something that I'm starting to figure out like 7 hours in, because if Odyssey does anything very, very well, it puts new stuff in front of your face consistently throughout that game, even though you're now 30 hours into it. Like you're doing stuff at the very end of that game that you have never done during the previous 29 hours. And not only is it fucking awesome, but it is completely brand new and novel, which I think is very fascinating. And the same thing seems to be happening here. To Jerica's point, or Jerica's question of, okay, well, do I have like an objective? A lot of it is kind of like light guidance, where there's always sort of like a yellow marker that you can run towards to like do the next thing. But the worlds that you enter tell a bit of a story, and you see the path forward by whatever like the conflict is, if that makes sense. Like with like no spoilers at all, Big Thing in Sky have 4 purple power lines attached to it. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, I know, I gotta go to the fucking 4 power line spots and do whatever they're asking me to do there. That kind of thing, you know?
Indicators.
Exactly. So it's like, come on, of course I'm gonna go to this fucking purple one that's right here, and then I'll go to the next purple one. It'll be right in front of my face. But if I see like a fucking fossil digging out the side of that cave, I might find out what's going on. Just a really fucking good gameplay loop.
Is there
Super strong.
cosmetics? I noticed there seem to appear to be different things that Donkey Kong can wear, but I don't have any of them yet.
Yes, there's cosmetics. They're so fucking good. My Donkey Kong is blue.
Oh wait, yes, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yes, so that was in the direct as well. They showed some of it. I'm assuming it's gonna get fucking crazy. Nintendo did do to me. I'd like to give them. I do follow Nintendo on Twitter, or X or whatever, and they're usually very good about this. And a lot of people would not consider this a spoiler, but for like the stuff in the Nintendo Direct, we had only seen like solid colors. Like we had seen blue, we had seen pink, we had seen red, and I did see them post some of like a couple Donkey Kong things, and there was something other than what I was expecting to see there, and I was like, stop it, Nintendo! Don't show me that. Like that's the only thing that I've stumbled on, but it's very small. It's a small cosmetic thing, and I'm sure it's only the tip of the iceberg of like what is to come. God. Because much like Mario Odyssey, that is set up in a very similar way, where like a certain collectible does enable you to have like a currency that can be exchanged for cool things, and it's done on like a level by level basis. So like I'm finding different reasons to do non-main story stuff because I want it to look cool. Like I just got to an area where I stopped everything that I was doing because I only had so much of this currency, and I had enough to put Pauline into the cutest little fucking outfit, and I was like, okay, well, I don't want Donkey Kong not to be in his outfit. I need 7 more of these. We're going hunting. So now I got Donkey Kong chilling in his fucking blue jeans, and Pauline's in her matching little thing, and like it's fucking good. It's so good. It's so adorable. Yeah, it is really nice. It is really nice.
I can't wait to play more. I can't wait to see what else we haven't gotten to yet.
Yeah. Hey, listen. I love the rest of our cast for sure, but we'll let one of them maybe hop on with us. But the 3 of us, based on this conversation, I feel like need to come back in 2 months and have the follow up to this conversation once like the gloves are off and we've all rolled credits and we can talk about like how everything panned out. Like our spoiler cast should be this is the preview to the spoiler cast. This is us setting you up for the big main event a couple months from now, once everyone's had their time with the game. Because it is spectacular, and truthfully we're only scratching the surface. There are things that I'm sitting on. I promised not to spoil anything, and we've been good about that, but there are things, gameplay things that I have not even talked about yet that I am excited for you guys to check out for sure. I want to bring in some stuff from the chat, of course, in the Drop In Dropout Discord, and live right now on twitch.tv/dropindropoutpod. We have people talking about the games, and there's some really good thoughts in here. For example, Cognitive Clips typed Donkey, only there is a space between the D, the O, the N, the K, and the E, and the Y, which is very impressive. I Score Weekly brings out a really good point. I like the independent buttons for directional punching more than I thought I would. This didn't click with me until I was a few hours into it, but it is really nice where Y, which is like your left button on the like controller, and then B, which is your bottom button. Each are a punch, but one of them punches forward and one of them punches down. And it took me a while to like wrap my fucking brain around that, where like it works the same way in the air too. So if I jump into the air with A, then I hit X and I punch forward, but then I can hold B and I can drill downward. And something about that does really click, which I super fucking love.
Yes,
and then
I appreciate that as someone who's newer-ish to new controls, not as eloquent for me, but that helps a lot.
I think they do a good job, but it is definitely a game that is like, as far as 3D platformers go, like I love Astrobot. I think Astrobot is a 10 out of 10 video game. It was my game of the year last year with a bullet. It is one of my favorite games of all time, currently sitting in my top 10 of all time, with perhaps a little bit of recency bias, but nonetheless, that is a game that is going to be very important to me for a very long time. But the design and the functionality of Astrobot as a character is extremely, extremely simple. Whereas Donkey Kong, in comparison, in his moveset in Bananza, is way more technical and has a much higher skill ceiling and variety of ways that you can maneuver this character. And that's not even including some of the gameplay stuff that we're not talking about right now. like that, there's another layer to that as well that we can get into when we talk about the spoiler cast. But the fact that just like with his regular moveset, things are so fucking crazy. As far as like the things that you can chain together, and like for a while, you guys all have seen this. There's a button that makes you curl up into a fucking ball and like zoom forward. And for a long time, I was like, when do I use this? What is the usage for this? I'm like, I don't even understand, because in Mario Odyssey, I understood what to do with it. But in this, I don't. So I'm like, when do I curl up into a ball? And I was like, they never tutorialized me. I don't understand. The answer, hey, bro, the tutorial is coming in 4 hours. Like, and I was like, oh, that's what that does. Like, they gave me access to it, and like the tech was there, and my ability to use it was there, but the knowledge of how to use it efficiently wasn't, and I didn't figure it out for myself until I got to that point, which I think is so fucking cool. Let me ask you as well, another submission. Have either of you guys checked out the map yet?
A little bit.
No,
I didn't realize that had a button until I accidentally pushed it, and I was like trying to get to my skill tree, because I was like, I just saw that, where did it go? Oh shit, there's a map.
Yes. The map is, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the best map in video games that I've ever seen.
Okay.
And it is actually fucking insane. I posted a TikTok today. I was like, no wonder Expedition 33 couldn't get a fucking map. Nintendo hired up all the good map designers. There's no chance. They never had a fucking chance. There's just nobody else could do it. It is unbelievable. It is a 3D map that you can completely zoom in and rotate, that includes the depth and destruction that you've already created. And not only is it completely customizable as far as like waypoints and markers, but you can flip between, almost think like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, where as you are in there, you can hit up and down on the D-pad to get to either the Sky Islands or the depths. Much like that, you can see the different layers of the level that you're on, so you can flick between them, because sometimes those do interact with each other, which is extremely fucking cool. But we'll do more of that in the near future. For sure, we'll talk about it. There are a couple more submissions that I wanted to get to. The first one that I think is the most important is Coalmine says, "Oh, banana," which is unbelievable. That is a Donkey Kong 64 sound that happens when you find like one of the crystal bananas. It doesn't happen as often as it happens in this game, but I love that they bring it back. There are a couple more really good ones, but into the show, Noah _C92 wrote a fucking essay for us. And I was like, man, I can't read that. And truth be told, I fucking haven't yet. So I took it upon myself to feed this into a text-to-speech thing, and I'm going to let the computer do it. It's in the form of a video right now, so you'll, if you're watching the video version, don't worry about the fact that we're going to shrink to small. But here is Noah's submission as he nitpicks this game, it seems like, from a 30,000 foot view. All right. And I promise all of this was written by Noah, and none of it was added or adjusted by me.
100% completed the first area, and I'm about halfway through the second. I wrote a long letter to explain my small issues. My only major complaint so far is the co-op mode. It's not only progression gated behind about 20 minutes of play, more if you're someone who wants to explore, but it's a rather frustrating play experience and trivializes a fair bit of the game. Wow, I sure do love writing. I had a kid ready to play at launch time, and we had to get through about 20 minutes of passing the controller back and forth to get co-op mode available. Interestingly, we did not have to actually physically pass the controller, because P2's controller worked and controlled DK and the camera fully even before unlocking the co-op mode. Hold on, I think I can write some more about this. These controls persist into the actual co-op experience. Both players clash with one another trying to look at or move toward one thing as DK but wanting to copy or throw an object as the companion. It was incredibly frustrating camera work. On top of that, the second player is incredibly overpowered in co-op mode. I know it sounds silly to say, but there's no cooldown of any kind on their ability to destroy things, and their radius for destruction is a fair bit larger than DK's normal ranges. This means that a second player not only trivializes much of the exploration and platforming but can actively harm the experience for the first player. Speaking of harming, I hope you don't mind me harming your ears with a little more writing. These things would lead one to think that the intended co-op experience then would be a parent as P2 helping their child be DK. However, the progression gating of the co-op unlock means the child either already was capable of playing without help to get co-op unlocked, or the adult needed to control the game long enough to get the mode unlocked, and that is during the tutorials for all of DK's basic moves you'd want the child to learn. Very poorly implemented mode that I think they'd have been better off leaving out if this is what they were going to give us. Okay, I'll just do a little outro and give you my closing thoughts. Aside from that, the game is great and I'm totally enthralled. Easy 9 out of 10, but that co-op experience soured me so much. Thanks for listening to my words. Okay, that's all I've got to say.
Okay.
Just kidding. I wrote some more for you, smiley face.
Jesus.
I remember seeing some discourse around Odyssey to the tune of "felt hollow to me. Every 3 steps another easy moon, won't be memorable," and I think the destruction and exploration do help a bit with that in one sense, as far as discoverability is concerned. I don't think that those people would be appeased by the total lack of difficulty experienced so far though. Okay, this time I'm really done. I won't post any more thoughts. Got him. More thoughts ahead. I guess if I had one more minor annoyance, it would be the lack of clarity around fossil collection OOPS. Character limit join the disc.
Unfortunately,
good points. Only laughing because of the fucking voice and how it, funny enough, never stopped.
Yeah, I mean, he has lots of notes, you know. I
does.
appreciate the
I love it. No,
There
it's
is-
it's good shit. It's just the fucking voice, Jake. Why'd you pick that one?
Better than my voice. I can't read all that.
True.
I just work here.
Jake Bot needed to enter the chat.
I want
know.
a bot voice. I love how
yeah.
who was it? Heroic Headgear is like, that's how they sound in my head now.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
me
Noah's
too.
voice for sure.
Canon Noah for sure.
I can think of no better way to end the podcast. And like I said, let's call this a part 1 of 2 of our spoiler cast, you know? Let's come back a couple months from now once we've all rolled credits. Maybe we'll bring like a Cognitive Clips or a P. Schwissy along, whoever else wants to hop in there and talk about it, because I think there's going to be a lot more to talk about. Jerica and Kayla, hey, this is our first time ever doing this specific trio, and it was so much fun. Thank you guys so much for joining me.
Easy to work with.
I know. Hey,
you know,
pitch on listen, I'm loving playing a game alongside you guys. What if I wanted to get even more involved with my Tears of the Kingdom playthrough?
Oh, are you throwing it at me? Hey, check out JK Games. We're doing our video game book club, and right now I'm about halfway through Tears of the Kingdom. Kayla's a little bit behind me, but not too far. But if you've played it or want to revisit, more people have probably beaten it. But I haven't, and y'all should come back and help us understand, because we are not Zelda freaks over here. We have no idea what's happening. I have a lot of questions why Link is so weak, and why Zelda's is always running away. So, but no, I'm really enjoying the game. I am getting really deep into Nintendo. Did I just buy 3 amiibos? Am I a Nintendo fan? No. But why is this happening?
Just looking at your background right now, I see Kirby, I see another Kirby, I see a Pokeball, I hear that there's amiibos. You're playing 2 massive first-party Nintendo games. All I'm seeing is a Nintendo fan over here.
I hate it.
I just ordered. I was like, I don't need that Pauline and Donkey Kong amiibo. I don't need that $30 amiibo at all. And then today I finished playing Donkey Kong, and I was like, okay, I need to nap before the podcast. And I was just laying there trying to fall asleep, and I was like, I need that Donkey Kong amiibo right now. So I just fucking ordered it on Amazon. It'll be here tomorrow. So good.
Play along with us.
It is really good. It's a fun time that's happening on Monday nights over at JK Games. But if you're confused on where to find any of us, the answer is so easy. Just go to dropindropoutpod.com.
We're all there.
We're doing things together. We're doing things separately. It is absolutely incredible. And we're doing things with our community. Join that Discord and hang out. Chat, you've been great live. The Discord has been absolutely popping. Audio listeners, come watch the video. Video listeners, download that audio podcast. I appreciate everyone's time, including my co-hosts, Jerica and Kayla. We will now wave at the screen until the podcast ends. Bye.